Welcome to, this is the last episode of our season 1, technically. So, I thought if I had it all together that I would get little party hats and but I forgot today was Thursday. Thought today was Wednesday. And if I would have waited till tomorrow, I'd have been way behind. And then, T-Ball would have come up Saturday. We wouldn't have been there. Because I'd have thought it was Friday.
Okay.
You're not following, are you? Okay.
I am not tracking tonight. It's like, I don't think the crickets are even in line. They're just like.
It's pretty bad. Yeah. But tonight's episode is gonna circle around how to be what it's like to be a farmer's wife, what it's like to date a farmer, just the farm life in general. But it comes up at perfect timing because they normally start planting after Easter, and Easter's like the first week of April. Isn't that right? The first week of April? It's real early this year.
I have to take my glasses off to see.
I think it's either the first or the second week of April, because we were talking about planting this week, and I said, yeah, y'all got, it was either right at a month or less than a month left before.
April the 5th.
5th, yeah, so it's the first week of April this year. And then that's usually when, after that's, what?
I'm just trying to figure out what's. Okay, never mind.
Your crickets cricketed?
No, I mean, something that went ding. It's April 4th. It's the autism acceptance thing at the park.
Oh,
so
okay.
Anyway.
But it came up we've been debating on this episode for a while, just when to do it, but other episodes came up and other topics came up. So,
if you're thinking of dating a farmer, or you're like, he's so cute out there riding that tractor, that truck.
I hate to tell you, and I don't mean this in any bad way, but that tractor is going to be much more of a priority than you most times. And it's not because they don't love you, it's because that's what makes the money.
And it's
going to get way more attention than you, and that's okay too. That's just if you're looking into, if there is somebody you see, ooh, my eye's twitching.
Well, I'm over here digging in one of mine, so
maybe that's why.
Is it the same one?
Yeah.
The left one?
Yeah.
Well, I'll quit digging in mine. Where's my drops?
I just kept talking. I thought it'll stop.
Might stop if I quit digging in mine. If you're not in South Georgia, it's pollen season down here. Everything's yellow.
And I don't care what anybody says. A lot of people say the pollen ain't what makes you sick. That is bull malarkey. Bull malarkey.
You can't get sick from goldenrod.
Oh, bull malarkey. The pollen and goldenrod, that's what's on my truck.
Well, let me just cram it up your nose a minute and see if it don't make you sick.
Yes.
Oh, an interesting fact, though. Interesting fact. I need to do an interesting fact every show as I have the tear stuff rolling down my face.
I'm just going.
ACHU is an acronym for syndrome or something like that. It's hot. You're over there like a beaver.
Sorry, it's hot. It's doing it again. Golly. I just hold my eye like this the whole time.
ACHU is an acronym for a type of syndrome that if you can look at the sun or bright lights when you have to sneeze and you sneeze, that's where ACHU came from. So whenever I have to sneeze and I'm like, oh, I gotta look at a bright light. And when I do, it makes me sneeze.
It makes me yawn.
Hang on a second, I can tell you.
It makes me yawn, but it don't.
ACHU syndrome.
Well, I wish I'd figure out what. No, it's just my eye won't stop twitching. It does that a lot for some reason.
Autosomal, dominant, compelling, ophthalmic outburst. A genetic trait causing uncontrollable sneezing when exposed to sudden bright light, such as sunlight. It's a photic sneeze reflex.
Okay.
Yeah. So ACHOO. Achu syndrome. All right, I'm going to do little interesting facts.
That
I'm at the
could be
beginning.
scary. Anyways, um, if you're there, this is also based off people that actually farm, not the people that have been set up by their grandpa or their great grandpa, and it's traveled down, and they have all kinds of money, and then they can hire whoever they want, and they can go off on all these trips, leave at busy times of the year, and basic what we call plate farm. They say they farm, but the workers do more. Their workers, their hired hands or whatever, do more work than them. And we're also not the people that think just because you work with us, we don't own you. There's some farmers that do that too. Mm-hmm. They think, oh, well, we own you, so now even when
or they're like, you work for us.
Yes.
I mean, they're like family.
Yes. Yeah.
Paul Preston.
If you you should respect your workers just like you would want your respect. So that's where the family aspect comes in, mm-hmm. because you are around each other a lot, and you go through highs and lows of the season, and it's a big group effort, and it's if you're the only one doing it or you're the main one doing it, it's hard, and then it becomes so if you're thinking of dating a farmer or marrying a farmer, take all these things into consideration, because when it comes planting time, harvest time, just time working in general, you're
gonna be by yourself a lot. But on the other side, you won't find, I mean, it's like great. Now you have duds in everything, mm-hmm. and you've got duds in farming.
Oh yeah.
But for the most part, I have known so many farmers that they've gotten sick or had to have emergency surgery or something happen, and they had crops in the field. Well, you had farmers just come together, all kinds of combines, tractors, everything out in the fields, mm-hmm. and they had it gathered in no time, and mm-hmm. then back to their own. They'll leave their own crops to go help another farmer.
And now not all people are like that, but if you find the ones that are genuine at heart, and they're not selfish, and they're not greedy, because there's a lot of farmers that are greedy. There's a lot of farmers that they will screw you over in a second just to say that they have their last name on that land, and that's not right. And as Brandon says, a lot of times, this is a lot of people's heaven. They don't know Jesus, mm-hmm. and this is their heaven. Their heaven is on earth, because mm-hmm. once they die, they're putting money above everything else, mm-hmm. including their soul. So this is a lot of people's heaven on earth, and so they're going to try and get mm-hmm. everything they can, regardless of if it's people you've known your whole life, family, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Some people just they don't care. But if you find a farmer that is hardworking, that truly loves what they do, you can't get any better, because the work ethic they'll instill in your kids, that the means they will go to provide for you, and how hard they work to provide.
They will move heaven and earth to make sure you're taken care of.
Yes, but that also means you have sacrifice on your end too.
Yeah.
When you're dating, you may see them a little bit more, but don't preconceive that's what life is going to be like after you get married. I grew up as a farmer's daughter and granddaughter, but even marrying a farmer, there was still adjustment. I grew up with Daddy being gone more than he was home. It's not because he didn't want to be home, but it was because he was working. And a lot of kids, when we were in school, mm-hmm. a lot of kids thought y'all were divorced because they never saw him. And I was like, no, I mean, he works.
Yeah.
He has no time clock.
He loved what he did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he loved what he did.
Well, and it poured over into Webb as far he loved what he did so much that Webb saw how much he loved it, and now he's farming. But you take you when Brandon and I were dating. Granted, he was here with Daddy and helping and all that, so I got to see him more. But since we moved to Ocilla, and now we've got kids, we saw each other while we were dating. We saw each other every day, but when it came work time, it's work time.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be offended if you say, well, at least can I come ride with you? And they tell you not right now. It's not because they don't love you. It's not because they don't like you. It's because they're focused on what they're doing. They're busy and they're probably aggravated at something that's broke down. And you can't be petty and selfish saying, well, you don't love me. I want to ride with you. I want to spend, why don't you want to spend time with me? Do you like to eat? Do you like the roof over your head? If you do, I would sit back and hush up because that's what's putting a roof over your head. But
Well, whenever me and Alan were dating,
yeah, you give your point of view because I came into it knowing kind of what to expect.
Yeah.
You had no earthly clue.
well, my granddaddy farmed, but it wasn't. I was little, I was young. Digging potatoes, it was fun for me because I got to get out there and play in the dirt and stuff. And
Your parents didn't let you play in the dirt.
And two, I was the baby, so I pretty much just got out there and did what I wanted to, as far as granddaddy and grandmother. But when we started dating, I was living in Macon. So the first time we went out, he come to Macon. Well, it was getting close to planting time and getting land ready, so I started having to come down every weekend to see him. And so I'd just make the trek down. I'd stay with my grandmother, and then eventually I started staying with Nemo and Pa. But yeah, every weekend I would have to come down. And then most of the time he would let me go ride with him, only because I only saw him like Friday afternoon, Saturday, part of Sunday, and then I'd have to go home.
Right.
So that's all we saw each other.
Because you were still working at the college at that point, right?
I was still working at the college. And we dated 2.5 months, got engaged, and 9 months after we met, we were married. We would have got married sooner, but we had to wait for the crops. And that's another thing is if you're dating somebody, you have to, if it's plant time, harvest time.
There is no stop button.
No, you have
even for your wedding.
Yeah, you have to plan around planting, harvest, and getting the land ready. Now, there's an upside to that. There's the winter months, depending on what the farmer you're dating or marrying, depending on what they grow, there's downtime.
Downtime.
Yeah.
That's the time where they work on the equipment. That's where they go and they buy stuff. It's their downtime, but it's still not like you can go off. Again, if you really work to maintain and do things as you should, you really technically never have a day off, but there are more times that you're able to do a little bit more than planting or harvest or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not like go from sun up till midnight.
Or past midnight.
Yeah. So there's it's not always wide open. There's times where they slow down. But we had a lot of farmers get married around November, December, January, February, March, somewhere around there.
April, no.
No, because that's when they usually start planting. But so we got married. Oh boy. That first year was a doozy. I cried till I literally could not cry anymore.
Because when you're coming into, you've never been in it, you don't see them. You just don't see them. They'll call you, and if you try and call them and they don't answer, don't get offended. They are busy. I don't mean this in an ugly way, but you you are the last thing on their mind, but at the same time, you're the first thing on their mind because they're thinking, I have to do the best I can out here to provide for my family.
Well, too, you have to take in mind farming, and some people don't think about this. Farming is one of the top, it's on the top list of one of the most dangerous professions because of all this equipment they're around. And so if they're constantly having to talk to you on the phone
They're
or
not
text you,
focusing.
they're not focusing on this massive equipment that they're climbing under, that they're working on, and stuff could
Because all
pop
it
loose.
takes is one slip sometimes to cut a hand, to chop off a
Well,
foot.
I've known so many farmers
Well,
that
Brandon, when he was a teenager, that his cousin, they were walking behind the plow, but it was an open cab tractor. His cousin leaned over, or he wasn't paying attention again, or something. Anyways, he fell off, and he went under the plow, and Brandon saw him die right there. Like I'm not going to go into detail, but he
Oh
went
my
under the
gosh.
plow and saw him die right there. So it just takes one little second to, and that, I mean, and unfortunately that happens more than people realize because they're not paying attention, they're distracted, and you've got all these ding dongs on the road that don't pay attention either. And it's like we were following, I had to, and you will be a glorified Uber driver and a glorified DoorDash deliverer. But you'll learn that you'll come, if you truly love him, you will come to love farming, and you will also come to love the small things that they set aside for you, because it's like, okay, they need me for this. I get so much joy from also watching Nemo. Nemo would always cook for help or whatever. I mean, not all the time, but she would always cook Paul lunch. But she would always offer food, and that was like her.
that was her love language.
Her ministry, her love language. And I've told Brandon, I said, I try to do that when especially being home now. I couldn't when I was working, but I love to do that. And where was I going before that? Dear. That's when they'll call. I think that's around the place I was going.
Oh, the delivering food and all that stuff.
That's when they'll call you. That is when, they'll ask for help, or crazy drivers. He called me he was taking his sprayer to somebody to weld something, to do something to it. And anyways, so he left the John Deere place and something went wonky. And so a guy from the John Deere place pulled up to him on the side of the road. Thankfully, the John Deere place was here, and he had just pulled out of the driveway. So he got behind Brandon, and I got behind him, and we had our hazards on. We were doing our thing. People, they're just ding dongs. They're impatient. And we went to, when I've got to turn, I turned my hazards off and turn on the right blinker, so that way, I try to start getting in the middle too, so that way they don't come over on them. Well, I had done that, and I was starting to come over, and this Chevy started flooring it. He had a trailer behind him with a lawnmower on it. Well, thankfully, I saw when I did, I was able to get over back enough, because if I had stayed where I was, it'd have taken out me, the kids, then I'd have ran into Jody, and Jody probably would have ran under Brandon.
Yeah.
But he came very close to taking all of us out. But if you're behind a tractor, be patient. If you are behind any type of equipment, be patient, because I know you're in a hurry, but not only are you putting the tractor driver in danger, because they have families too, you're putting yourself in danger, because all it takes is one swig of that tractor wheel, and if there's a plow or anything behind them, any kind of implement behind them, your car ain't nothing compared to that implement.
It's just going to rip right into them.
That thing has probably been welded so many times too that the only way to get your car off is going to be by welding it off.
Yeah, to cut it off.
So,
yeah.
But if you're looking to go down this path, you have to really think about what you're willing to sacrifice, because you're going to have to probably sacrifice a lot more than you think.
Well, too, you have to look at, talk to talk to some others that have been married to a farmer for a long time. Reasonable, logical thinking individuals. Talk to them, and just spend time with farming families and get to know them. And there's no greater life. I mean, I
No.
wouldn't take anything for this life, but it's a big adjustment.
Brandon has joked about, because he knows that I enjoy all of this as much as he does. I'm not even on the tractor, but during hauling time, hauling peanut wagons is like me winning $1 million.
Oh gosh, I miss that so much.
I love hauling wagons. Don't ask me why. I just love. And I love that I get to help.
Well, I have to tell you the story. I'm trying to go like in order so that it's not like all over the place. When we got married,
You talking about the ditch?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
No. When we got married, the first year, I cried till I couldn't cry anymore. Like it was bad.
And I could just see Daddy sitting there going,
"Oh, he'd go to bed, and I'm going to bed." And I would sit there and tell him.
That's another thing. When they say they go into bed, let them go to bed, because they don't have a time clock. They don't have a clock in, clock out time. There is no backup plan.
Oh no, this was his means of getting out of an argument. I'm going to bed.
Oh, okay.
And then my hard-headed self.
Did you follow him in there?
I sure enough did. I'd follow him in there, and he'd be laying there trying to go to sleep. Like, I'm asleep. I'd plop my big butt down on that bed. I'm like, let me tell you something. We're not going to bed angry like this. And I'd just get madder. The quieter he was, the madder I'd get. And I'm like, we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about this. I'm like, you are not going to bed. And then I'd turn on lamps and I'd turn on the TV. I'm like, I'm telling you, you are not going to sleep till we talk about this.
Is that why he sleeps so hard?
Probably so. And then either we'd talk about it, or I'd just get so mad I'd just finally. And
is that what you did?
That was before I was therapized. But then he'd come up 3 weeks later and then want to talk about it. And I'd be like, no. Anyway, that was the first year. Alan does not remember this. I do. He's like, I don't remember that.
They also don't have a good memory unless it comes to a tractor, some kind of equipment, a field, and then they want you, okay, so each field has a name. They name each field. Well,
the donut field.
Yeah, that one down there.
The dairy.
They have one called what they call the hill. I thought it was called the mountain. And so I was sitting there one day saying, the mountain. And Brandon's just sitting there going, what are you talking about? We ain't got the mountain. You sat there and said the mountain. And he was like, I ain't got no field called the mountain. And he said, you mean the hill? I was like, hill, mountain? You didn't put two and two together? And I'm sitting here driving, trying to figure out where he's at. He wants the mountain. Put it together.
And most have their own. And see, before we had kids, I would work in the field. And let me tell you something. Me and Alan, we cannot be like on the same piece of equipment for a very long period of time.
I won't ever forget. Daddy told you. I think I just started driving because I had the blue truck. And we were over there at the dairy. And he told you to go get a wrench or a screw. Anyways, whatever you got wasn't the right one.
Of course not.
And he said, no, not that one, the whatever. And you started walking off going,
oh yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to eat my crackers. I'm going to sit right here.
I would look at him and say, can you not ask nicely?
Like, that's another thing. When they do something in a voice that sounds like they ain't aggravated at you. They aggravated at what's going on. It's broke 12 times. They've spent how much ever money on it. They're tired of it. They ain't aggravated at you. The best thing you can do, and I know people say, nobody's going to talk to me that way. You try to buck up at a farmer when they're aggravated. All I'm going to say is good luck to you, and I'm going to sit back with some popcorn.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. And it just turned into.
Is that where the hat came in?
I don't know. It may be. I may be the problem. I may be the cause of a lot of things
the problem.
he does.
Your mess never do no wrong because I'm so awful. Morgan Wallen.
Oh, I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's
I'm like, I don't remember ever saying that.
No, it's a Morgan Wallen song, and it just fit right in.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I would work in the fields, and again, there's nothing like it. I miss being in the fields. I was helping in the fields before the kids came along. I remember we would be out working late, and then Nima would have supper and everything fixed. And she'd be like, no, y'all come on by now. You've been out working in that field all day. The least I can do is fix some food. Now, y'all come on by here and eat before you go home.
10:30 every day she'd be calling Pa. Yeah. What time you coming home for lunch? What time?
And then sometimes Pa would sit there. It's kind of like, or he'd just roll them eyes, go.
Yes, or he'd hold his phone out like this, and bless her, she's with Jesus now, so I can say this. But he'd hold his phone out. Where's something? Hand me that little circle. Oh, perfect. He'd hold his phone out, his little flip phone out like this, and he'd look at us and cut them eyes. And go, y'all don't tell her I do this.
I know.
And then he'd just kind of occasionally go like this, and he'd go, and he'd go, all right, click,
and then go. But anyway, I would work in the fields. And I came along before there was module builders and all that stuff that packed the cotton for you. And the
module builders don't pack it. Are you talking? Okay.
I'm talking about the module builders
not the module cotton picker.
No, I'm talking about the module builders.
When you stomped on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had the trailers, the big old trailers that Uncle Hollis would get. Okay, we have this much time. Nema's brother used to help us, Uncle Hollis. Okay, we have this much time to get to the cotton place and back. Okay, with a loaded cotton wagon. And this sucker is massive and heavy. Okay, I bet I could be there and back by such and such time. Now, if you want to have a good prayer life, or I was somebody like him, and you will pray a lot.
Him and Cece.
Because I just knew we were going to die. And there was one time he started pulling off before the thing was fully unhooked. And then when he pulled off, it broke loose, and then it just started moving. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to destroy the cotton gin. But anyway, but I do remember one night, me and Uncle Hollis were out in the middle of this.
And it's cold. It gets cold at this time. And it's not like,
North Georgia cold.
Or
yeah,
North
it's
Georgia,
not a dry cold.
Or a northern state cold. It is a type of cold that literally makes your bones hurt. A lot of people say way up north, they're like, open your windows in the winter, it'll help you breathe. No, if we open our windows down here in the cold, we get pneumonia.
We gonna get pneumonia, bronchitis, and we gonna sound like we dying, and sometimes we probably wish we would.
Our weather is so wonky. Earlier, it was last week or earlier this week, in one day, we had 4 different weather alerts all at the same time. Tornado warning, tornado watch,
a freeze
warning, and a thunderstorm.
And wind warnings.
Wind warnings, all at the same time.
Yeah.
So a tornado touched down, and later that night you got on your heater because it's cold. Don't come at me about our weather.
It's as crazy as we are. That's the reason we all so crazy.
But hey, I say we acclimate pretty good.
We all get therapized. Anyway, me and Uncle Hollis were out in this massive field. There was no blocking us. Like usually the trees will kind of block it. It was cold. It was dark. It was pitch black. We were about to freeze our tails off, and it's when Bo was working with us.
Oh.
And your daddy'd pull. This is when we had cotton pickers. Mm-hmm. Well, your daddy'd pull up one time to dump, and Bo'd pull up the other side. Man, I had to turn my heater up. I did too. I looked at them. I was like, shut up. Because we were freezing our tails off when in the middle of them dumping, me and Uncle Hollis would just bury ourselves down
I
in the
imagine.
cotton. And he finally called Aunt Margie. He was like, hey, now imagine Aunt Margie trying to find us in the dark in this middle of nowhere field. Maybe she'd been there before. I don't know. But anyway, she managed to get there with coats. We about froze our tails off. And I was not happy when they pulled up talking about their heaters. And we were freezing our butts off. And it was late. And when there's no dew, you could pick cotton all night long.
You can pick, and the same thing with peanuts. Most of the time, if they're you stop picking when the moisture gets too high. But every time you go to drop off the peanuts, they check the moisture. So then you know every time, like, okay, it's getting too high, or you can keep going. And so, and the same thing about starting. When the moisture's right, you can start picking.
Well, and too, when those vines are crunchy, if they start getting moist, the peanuts don't want to come off the vine, and you spit them out the back and you lose the peanuts.
Or they just drop on the ground and you litter the ground with them, and then you're literally throwing money on the ground.
And with cotton, if the cotton starts to get damp, it strings like a spider web, like it'll just string and looks like a big old wad of just spider web sticking everywhere. It gets
that's
sticky.
Money just going.
Yeah, and it won't pull out of the bowl like when the spindles and doffers and all that stuff rotate around and go through each other. It won't pull that cotton out of the cotton bowls like it's supposed to. It'll lock it down or it'll stay. And so you can't get that cotton to pull out and release, and it'll just string it everywhere, and you'll leave money in the field.
But if you want to earn, that's also, if you are willing to help in any way, whether it be food, picking up that means more. You may think it's small, but that means more to them, because that means they don't have to stop. They don't have to quit what they're doing. Then those 15, 30 minutes, whatever it would take for them to get wherever they're going, because sometimes you have to chase down parts. You may have to go 30 minutes one way, come back, and then go 30 minutes. It just varies, because the system is horrible for as far as locating parts. But that means more to them than you could ever know, to be able to do that, because they can keep focusing on what they're doing. They ain't got to stop. But some of my best memories are in the field, or that's where we learned how to work a module builder from CC. He taught us how to do that. Just even watching them, or, and again, if you can go and it's not gonna, you're not gonna be in the way, that's where you spend time together. That's where you make memories. And with the kids now that I'm home and I can help haul wagons, it took the kids months. They have just stopped asking if we're going to go haul and if we're going to go work. And they enjoy it, but they also enjoy it because they see us enjoying it. They would dread it if we dreaded it, but that's just some of the best memories you can make. And but they're also seeing people working. They're also witnessing a work ethic. And that's another thing to think about too. If you do marry a farmer and if you have a baby, do not be offended, or do not think that you are just so special that they have to stick around and hold your hand after you have this baby. Oh no.
If you go nurse a baby, should I say this?
I don't know if I'd say this. I know where you're going. Let's just say this. Okay.
Your husband will do what he can.
Yes.
But do not go into starting a family
and having a pity party at the same time.
With all these massive expectations of, my husband is going to be at this party, at that party, at this school function, at this recital.
Or even just post-birth, because so the girl, I remember very little after the girls, because I had some health stuff go on, so they had to put me to sleep for my C-section. Brandon was there when they cut me, but I had the babies in March, okay? They were in the middle of he had to work. He had no choice. where we live, there is only very few of us, and he had to work. It was either he worked or we didn't have food, and we just added 2 more mouths to our family. So we went from a family of 3 to a family of 5. So that night, and I know a lot of people say, oh, well, he couldn't have just stayed that one night. No, he had to do what he had to do for his family. Do you think it was easy for him to get up and leave his wife that had just been cut open from hip to hip and his 2 brand new babies? No. But because they do love you so much, they have to sacrifice. We sit here and go, oh, I'm sacrificing so much by not spending time. No, they're sacrificing spending that time with their family. You know, you're with your kids all day or whatever, and they don't get to go to all the t-ball games. They don't get to go to all this and all that. But that night, I remember him. God made me aware enough to watch him change a diaper, which was hilarious because he doesn't like to change diapers. And then I guess I took a picture of him holding one of the girls. I don't remember taking this picture, but it's obviously me in the bed taking the picture. And then I don't know if I fell asleep in him, but at some point he left. And then he would just check on us every day because I was in the hospital way shorter than I was with Gus. I think I had him on the 1st and I went home on the 3rd, I think. And so he came, picked me up, took me home, spent the rest of the day with me, and then he came home, you know, at times when he could, but it's very much going to be on you, and you have to, if they can be there more, they will. But you have to also realize that you are going to be the main one taking care of everything, taking them places, doing stuff, just anything. And when it comes to, if they do need something or do need lunch, you're going to have to be okay with not having a schedule as far as nap time and all that. As far, if they call, you get them up, you put them in the truck, they can nap in the truck, but you are biblically their helper. So you are helping them.
You're their helpmate.
Yes, you are helping them to help provide for your family.
And then too, one thing I had to get used to is now, and it depends on the individual also. It depends on what's been passed down to them as far as how they were taught. You know, was their dad a mushy-gushy person? And Alan ain't a mushy-gushy person. I think I didn't
marry a mushy-gushy person.
I think I've gotten like 2 cards from him whenever we was dating. Still makes me laugh. And I think I got it somewhere. And
that's interesting. Daddy's sitting down and writing a card.
Yes. You want me to tell you what to say?
If I had to guess, it's like roses are red.
No. I don't even remember what the...
He probably had something. It was probably a funeral card or something. There's no telling.
It had an elephant or elephant doing something, and it says, "This reminds me of our relationship" or something. You open it up and it says "hot and heavy."
An elephant. An elephant.
I forget what the front part said when I opened it. That has always stuck in my brain. But anyway, he is not a mushy-gushy.
I've only gotten one card, and it was on flowers when we were dating, and that's it.
Yeah, but you remember it.
I do. And that's the thing. Small things.
I remember those flowers. They were sitting in there. Mm-hmm. And do you know what? When he come in with those, I forget what it was.
It wasn't even special. No, like, it wasn't a special day.
He put them somewhere.
He put them on my dresser.
Yeah,
I came in.
But he put them somewhere else, and I'm like, no, Brandon, you have to sit them with a neon sign
I'm
saying,
very
"Here
oblivious.
you go."
I really do not expect anything. He's not a mushy gushy person. I'm not a mushy gushy person.
So
He's a better gift giver than I am. That ain't just with him. That's with anybody. He's the better decorator. He's the better clothes person. Daddy really. I should have been a boy. I just.
well, and Alan does not. Okay, some of the things that used to cause some of our problems when we got married. One, I had issues.
I got issues.
I got issues. I had a lot of them. Didn't realize I had so many. Anyway, but I used to get mad because he didn't kiss me goodnight every night. He didn't say I love you.
We never say I love you on the phone. Never.
I mean, just in general, like.
Oh, yeah, that too.
I was like, what if I died tonight? What if you died? I wouldn't get a last kiss from you. Yeah, I was just all drama. I was young.
I say we never say it. We do, but it's not.
What was that song? Young, dumb, and broke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just young and dumb. Like, not that we were loaded, but I was young and
I think
dumb.
I could name a handful of times Daddy has said I love you, and I'm not offended by that, or it's not that it's the act.
He shows you.
And Brandon's
love.
the same way. Is they show it like we don't buy if he buys me stuff. One, I don't expect anything. I don't want anything. Two, if it's food. Because he knows that's also my love language.
Chocolate milk and Funyuns.
I had that.
Yeah, I remember.
Not last night, but the last.
I remember the first time he heard about that.
I was at some people's house, and we were cooking supper, and I had only met him once, and he comes walking in, and at this point, I had I still blinders. I was not. That wasn't in my mind, and they said they were going to the gas station. And my favorite, this is not good for you at all, but my favorite treat, or like my, what do you call it, guilty pleasure, is Funyuns and chocolate milk. Don't knock it till you try it. I just can't beat it. But it's Yoo-hoo and Funyuns, not just regular Yoo-hoo, the fake chocolate milk. And I walked around the corner and he had it, and I really didn't know what to say because I thought, I don't know you. How did you know that I like this, and what does this mean? So I was like, thank you, but I was also scared at the same time because I thought,
boy cooties.
That's what kind of pops in. Listen. The first time he tried to kiss me, I genuinely locked my neck and pulled away. And he pulled back, and I pulled back. And I thought, there is no fighting this.
The force is strong with this one.
The force is strong with this one. All I could think of was A Walk to Remember. And he says, can I kiss you? Or I'm going to... And she goes, but I might be bad at it. I thought, I don't want to do what they do in the movies. That's nasty. You see all that slobber going everywhere? Like, that is nasty. Just...
But yeah, it was some of my favorite things that Alan has done is he never really buys flowers, which I'm fine with because, I mean, you go out and you...
Granted, they're pretty. They are pretty.
They're beautiful. That's
but
why
I'd much rather have a nice... juicy, bloody steak that I just...
Or I'd rather have, he would come in and he would see a flower in a ditch and stop and pick it.
That's what Brandon will do. He'll get a Gatorade. Granted, I don't want to know what was in the Gatorade bottle. Could have been spit. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
and get that flower and bring it in. Or put it in some type of, like you said, a Pepsi bottle or whatever they've got at the time. Or just wrap it in a napkin and, I don't know, there might be water in the ditch and they just dip it in. You just never know.
It's the thought that counts.
But he would come in with that flower, that weed, and I would keep that thing alive
I'm telling you, I ain't ever
as
tried to
long
keep flowers
as
alive.
I could.
I'd water it. That I have had so many Gatorade bottles sitting up on my windowsill trying to keep, because he knows I love sunflowers. So if he sees a sunflower, he'll sometimes and I will try my best. I'll move that thing around, and when it finally dies, I'm like,
I know, you
oh,
hate to throw it away. I mean, it's all
I
wilted
know.
and it's all
Starting to
nasty and
stink.
slimy. You're like, oh, I guess I got to throw it away.
I know.
But
at this point, I should have a small flower patch beside my porch. I mean, it's not like he does it often, but it doesn't take many seeds.
yeah, but I had much rather. Sometimes I feel sorry for all these guys rushing in at Valentine's Day,
it's
Mother's
pitiful.
Day. And I almost feel sorry for them rushing in.
Because they feel like they have to. It's
well,
not because they
I know some probably want to, but you can tell the ones that are like panicked or maybe just don't have the money, but they feel like they have to. Or I don't ever want anybody to get me anything because they feel like they have to.
No.
I want it to be because they want to, because they're really thinking of me. And that's why whenever he would come in with just some flower or some weed with a flower that he thought was pretty, and that meant at that time he was thinking about me. And so he took the time to stop, get that, wrap it in a napkin, and bring it in to me. That means so much more than 10 dozen roses. Like, it just means so much.
Because,
so you have
because it's from the heart. It's because they want to, not that they feel like they have to.
Most farmers have huge hearts.
Oh, yeah.
And in dating a farmer, you have to...
It's not like the normal care you're used to seeing. I don't mean this in a bad way, but from somebody with a regular job, it's going to be in a different way, but you have to have patience with them. You can't expect them to just, you know...
Well, it's almost like if somebody was dating law enforcement,
or something, with a crazy
somebody
schedule.
in the medical field working at a hospital, a firefighter. Like, they are going to have crazy schedules.
It's the same thing.
And the more they move up that ladder, the better it will get. Well, depending on where they are in the season, the better it will get, and then it will rotate.
But every season is different, though, because literally everything is according to the weather.
Yep.
And that includes everything when it comes to you, when it comes to kids, when it comes to family functions. So say you get a wedding invitation and you both know this person. Just go ahead and put both of you down. If he can come, great. But there is a 75% chance he won't be able to come.
And if it's during harvest, plant, any of that,
don't even expect
there's a
it.
99.9% chance you'll be going by yourself. But it's okay. You get used to it. You adjust.
Let me tell
and
you.
it all depends on what you want. I had much rather have a farmer that was dedicated to God, his family, to making a living for us and making sure we're taken care of, that I had to go places by myself. A lot of Sunday school parties I had to go to by myself. Weddings. In most events, even family functions, I had to go to by myself because he was tied up. And sometimes he could go last minute, sometimes he couldn't.
They just randomly show up. They don't let you know, but you don't look at them and go, well, you didn't let me know you're just grateful they're there. And another, I have many pet peeves around this just because I see so many wives being so ungrateful and so petty. And a lot of wives wind up cheating on their husband because they say, well, you never spent time with me. He's out there putting a roof over your head and your kid's head. But you're going to, one, commit adultery. It doesn't matter what the circumstance is.
Yeah.
But two, you're going to be that petty.
Yeah.
You're going to be that petty.
Well, two, ask him, like, hey, can we come out here and spend some time with you? Can the kids ride with you? Let me know what's a good time.
Even if you can't ride with him, there is dirt out there.
I was fixing to say.
If you have kids, you know what you do? You take, because if they're a farmer, I guarantee your kids have little toy tractors. Okay? You take them little toy tractors and their little toys, and you sit at the edge where you're out of the way, and you let them pretend to be daddy and play in the dirt. You know what? It may not mean as much as you think, but for him to look over there and just see you, just to see your kids, that could mean more to him than anything.
Well, and two, it'll mean a lot to you to look over and see your husband out there, to see him working so hard, because farming is not just riding a
Oh
tractor.
my gosh. When people say that, I really want to thump them and be like,
Well, it really is like they just got finished putting together, like rebuilding one of the Harrows over there.
redisking it.
And they had to
Was
take,
that what it was?
yeah, well, they were pretty much just taking the thing apart, putting the new disc on, like fix welding, whatever they had to do, then putting it back on. And like even that's dangerous because they're having to lift this massive Harrow up with all of these discs. And if they hit a wrong button while somebody's in that cab, it'll let all those discs down. And if somebody's underneath it.
It was a while back. Something like that happened to somebody. He was working on it himself, and I think the hydraulics went out or something, and it came down on top of him and killed. And I can't remember when that was.
I've known of several like that, or stuff has flipped over. But yeah, it's a very dangerous. So,
and on the nights that they're not home, think of it as this, to put a positive spin on it. You take those nights, yes, have him something. Now, sometimes they will stop and go get them something to eat real quick. If they're not going to eat at home and they're going to eat in town, the positive note, you pick those nights to cook the things you like that he doesn't like. Brandon, he bless his heart, he's weak when it comes to spice. It tears his little old tummy up. But I love some spice, and I love buffalo. Those nights, I fix something buffalo, something spicy, just something that he doesn't, or I'll fix the kids a bowl of cereal and I'll have a bowl. You just, you make the best out of it, but also remember that that's part of a job you're taking on too. Even if you work, the house, that's going to be on you. The kids, again, that's going to be on you, but meals. You don't know how much it will also mean to them to have a home cooked hot meal waiting for them, or even if it's cooked and they have to warm it up, still knowing that they have food fixed at home, something to put in their belly. Because a lot of times Brandon don't eat. He won't even stop to eat lunch. He will come home and he will scarf down a whole roast. and
and two, if you fix a meal, and this is another thing like I said, I had to learn a lot. Number one, I didn't know how to cook. I could boil water.
I can't imagine that. That's one thing I just can't imagine not knowing how to cook.
I had no clue how to cook. I would fry chicken. The outside would be burnt and the inside
was
raw.
But you know, that's more common than you think. That is that you watch all these cooking shows and stuff. A lot of professionals will do that.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't cook anything. I knew how to cook nothing. I mean, I could even mess up a box of macaroni and cheese. Yeah. And God bless him. He, bless him.
See, Brandon, he is sitting there, and I know by the look on his face, I'm like, is it bad?
Well, and see,
and I've looked at him and I said, please just tell me if it's bad, because if you don't tell me it's bad, I'm gonna cook it again, and I'm not gonna know.
He'll go, it's bad.
he'll go, well, and then he'll try to be soft about. I'm like, just tell me what's wrong.
Well, see, I think what Alan would do is like fix his plate, and then he'd just kind of go disappear and watch TV, and then he probably either went and dumped it outside or in the trash can, probably so I couldn't see it. But he knew I couldn't cook. I mean, no, I was never taught how to cook.
That's what's crazy to me too, is your household, your sperm donor was so set on women having these roles. As far as, yes, I know we biblically have roles. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the control aspect of, because he would say that to me about, I'm so glad that you're taking on your role that you're supposed to have.
But see, I was
cook it, and I'm like, that just makes no sense.
I was just the princess. I was the toy. That was not my calling, was to be taught how to cook. So yeah, when we got married, I couldn't cook a lick. I'd be like, "Hey, Nima, how do you?" Now I could cook a pound cake. No, I couldn't cook a pound cake because
Pound cakes ain't easy though.
well, not grandmother's recipe, grandmother Hancock's. Like hers, I can't tell you the number of people that have tried to cook her pound cake and they couldn't because there's tricks to it. And after I got married, I finally told her, I was like, hey, I want to come one day and I want you to have a bowl. I want me to have a bowl. And I'm going to write down everything you do. And I did. And she clarified her butter. And then she would put like a fourth of this plus a little.
Oh yeah, I've tried to give people recipes. Like my old boss Jen, we were talking about food. I got so tickled, bless her heart. We were sitting there talking. She said,
"She's the one that said I need exact."
I said, I can tell you how to make like squat. I can't remember what it was, but she looked at me and she was getting in her car and she said, I need exact measurements.
Sorry, y'all. I knew something was behind me, and I'm like, now, sorry. It just kept falling and falling. So I'm like, just move. Just get the floor with my, sorry.
But
Squirrel.
yeah, Nima didn't use, even in baking, she would have measurements wrote down.
Yeah.
But she never just stuck to those measurements.
Well,
she would add a little bit of this, add a little bit of that. So my measurements are a pinch of, and I go by what her pinch of was, or a little bit in that. And a lot of mine is I've tried to do videos on, because a lot of people have asked, why don't you just do why don't you do some cooking videos? I've tried. Do you know how hard it is? Because I don't know how much I put of this or how much I put of that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, she helped. Now I would call Mama some on specific things. So Mama helped me some, but a lot of it was like Nema, or I'd be over there. I'm like, okay, Nema, how do you fix that? Like, what do you do to this? Now corn, I could put up corn.
Oh, I got you on corn.
I can put up corn just like, because
and apparently this year I'm going to have it, because I told Brandon, I said, my goal is I want to have enough corn for this year, and I want to need-modify it. I want to have enough for this year, and I want to have enough for next year.
Do you know the last time Andrew was down, we ate the last of the corn?
Oh, no. Oh, that's so... Did you save the bag? Please tell me someone saved the bag.
Mm-mm.
With her handwriting on it?
I wasn't there when he fixed it. Paul put it in the crock pot.
Oh.
No. But yeah, but I told Paul, I said, that's fine. I said, I should have time this year to
That's
get
also some of my
put
favorite
up.
memories of sitting under her carport, because Brandon was talking about, the heat and stuff. I was like, look, Brandon, I said, I have been Nemaw trained on corn. I said, you ain't got nothing on heat, because Nemaw's carport, yes, it's covered, but it's the wind, the fans only go one way, and it's hot and muggy. And our carport is completely open. It just has a roof over it.
And with Nemaw, you had to work your way up. I can't tell you how
I was a silker for the longest
years
time.
It took me until she finally blessed me with a knife.
I didn't.
And then normally, she had the Band-Aids out.
Yep.
She had the line. Now her knives, them bad boys were sharp.
You got to make sure because
and do you know she was going to throw her metal pans away that she put corn up for so many years? I'm like, you getting rid of those? I'm like, I want them.
For what reason?
She was thinking that she used to put it up in this other
bowl.
And the ones with kind of the flat bottom. She was going to throw those, get rid of them. And I was like, no.
The corn fits perfectly.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, no, can I have those, Nema? So, yeah, I was like, she had them under the carport, was going to get rid of them.
No.
I was like, she had for some reason, she was thinking she used these, like, stainless steel bowls. And I'm like, no.
She did she had them to cut it in.
No, these were the ones with the rim that kind of stuck out some, round, and come out, and then had the flat bottom.
Are you talking about the ones she'd bake them in? Like she would blanch them in?
This is the one she would cut it off in.
Now, I always cut off in a stainless steel bowl.
Yeah, not that one. This one was completely different. I'd never really seen this one.
I'll have to look at it.
I
But,
mean, the one that she had gotten out, and
Oh.
it's But anyway, yeah. But anyway, there's a lot of things with farmers. They have the implements, the tractors, and the tools. Say if you want to grow your own garden and stuff, they have the ability
I don't know.
to.
Brandon put me in charge of planting 2 kinds of onions. The onions he planted with me, they growing. But the onions I planted the exact same way, they dead.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they have the ability to get out there, and instead of you having to get out there
If
and
they have the
hoe up
time,
and
yes.
hoe up, this big old plot of stuff, they can, if they have time, they can get out there and get it ready for you. And if they have time, they can help you do the rows. All that, they have the ability to do that. Like there's so many pluses
I
to.
tried to plant them, but they dead. Like they. I feel so bad. They were a little.
Have you ever tried to plant those flowers I gave you?
They're in my truck. That's why I haven't planted them. Is because Nemo had the greenest thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon has the greenest thumb. Brandon could grow. He could grow gummy worms if you could grow gummy worms.
Yeah.
But because people stop by and ask about the garden. I tried. I did my wifely duty. I tried helping planting the onions, and I did exactly what I was supposed to. They dead. I even started putting on the sprinkler as soon as I planted them, so they are dead. I know. It's pitiful. You look out there and you see the rows that he and I planted. If it wasn't for him planting them with me, they wouldn't have grown. But, you see him sprouting and sprigging, and then you just see these empty rows with flags over here, and it goes, oh.
Dun, 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 dun,
It's bad. It's bad. There is a reason I have not planted the flowers you gave me. It's because I'm scared they're going to die.
Well,
when you say they're easy to grow, I'm like,
you let me know when you want to plant them or where, and we'll fix it.
These onions, they weren't seeds. They were already sprouted. Yes. I didn't plant just seeds.
Did you plant them too deep?
No. I did the exact way Brandon did. They're dead.
Anyway, there's a lot of pluses to being in a farming family. And then
what may seem as negative isn't even negative. It's just part of the territory. But there's so much joy and fulfillment. And
the reason we wanted to do this was, we hear of a lot of, especially down here, we're in, we have AVAC here and everything, and you hear a lot of females talking about, I'd love to date a farmer, or this
they
or
love
that.
the idea, but
they love the idea behind it,
but they don't understand that
what all it entails. And we just want, if somebody's, which I wouldn't take anything for it in a million years.
Brandon's he's joked about switching because he knows he never would. The boy wouldn't do anything else. And he would do it to the point where I'll just be in tears and I will be bawling, and because I can't see us doing anything else. I can't see us, if something ever happened, because that does happen. Some farmers, it doesn't matter if they do everything they should, but there is no backup plan. There is no, if the crop doesn't do, for people, again, that have not had things handed to them and handed over to, there is no backup plan. It's not like we have all this money that you live off of loans, literally. You go at the beginning of the year, you get your farm loan for the year, you give them what you think you'll need, and at the end of the year you have to pay all this back. That's
plus interest,
plus equipment that breaks down, equipment you need to buy, what you're planting, your chemicals,
and then taxes,
everything. There is no backup plan. So it's not, you are literally living off of loans, and they have to be out there every single day that they can to pay off those loans. And how you farm and don't have faith, I do not know, because there are, especially when we've had these hurricanes come along, there's just been many times that I've been on my hands and knees just praying and trying to also instill in the kids, look, the food you're putting in your mouth is because of Daddy's hard work. The food you're putting in your mouth is because God allowed that plant to grow and for us to be able to have food
And be
in our
good
mouth.
stewards of what God
Yes.
has given us.
And there's many ideas of things we would love to be able to do if we had the money and time, but right now with prices the way, I mean, everybody's just doing the best they can. And that's why if you're ever growing up, if we were ever able to go off on a trip, I can remember 3 times us going to the beach growing up.
I'm glad you said that. And I know with us, for vacations, it was hey, we might get to go somewhere.
That's where I was going, is it would be during the summer.
Usually September-ish, they would get, there's usually a week here or there in September, and it varies from year to year what week it may be.
If we ever went, we would go in March, and granted the beach would be cold, but it would still be the beach. But it would be, Daddy would come in, and
it'd be September, like after Labor Day.
No, well, I'm talking about us. If we've gone to the beach, it's been in March. But Daddy came in. I remember one time, I think this is the last time we went as just, us. And before I got older and married, and I wasn't even a teenager yet, I don't think. But Daddy came in one night, and he just randomly said, I think we're going to go to the beach. And we thought he was joking. And he started packing his bag, and then me and Mama looked at each other, and so we started packing. We loaded up that night. It was late. We stopped off at Steve's. Sambo's.
It was early enough. I know which one you're talking about. It was early enough that I could call the condo place.
You were running out of time, though.
On the way, because I only had a few minutes to try and find somebody that was still open.
You were looking at the map. And you were trying to find somebody. Daddy was like, did you find somebody? Did you find somebody? Because I don't think he also wanted to drive all the way down there and not have anywhere. And I think it was right after we got to Willacoochee, whenever you found it. We stopped off at Steve's, we ate, and then we headed on. But ever since because I don't think that's the first time we stopped off at Steve's to go to the beach. But from now on, whenever I head to the beach, I always take the kids by Sambo's. She got the best food anyways. That's just,
I know.
That's just
I
so
miss
good.
that sweet tea when we would be in the fields.
Oh, there is nothing like a cold, sweet tea. There's nothing like food when you don't understand the hunger that sets in. Especially, so now they have a seed tender. We have a seed tender. Do y'all have a seed tender still? Well, that used to not be what we had.
We used to be the seed tender.
We used to fill the hoppers, and they would get back in the tractor. And granted, they were, like we said, they're still working. They're still doing all the things. We didn't have the tractor AC. We had the sun heat.
And our bathroom was, me and Jill would get excited because we had the red truck stick shift with...
My legs are really short, and that seat don't move up. And you sitting there trying to shift and hit the clutch at the right time with short legs.
And she's sitting there and I
had to take that. Granted, it's an old truck, so there ain't much in it. And I would look in the console. There was the old manual, and there was some kind of wooden block in there. And so I put that against my back. And I had that because it was so far back.
And she'd sit there and she'd pull
I
herself.
pull on the steering wheel and I'd get it.
And then I'd sit over there and call, okay, let's go.
Hey, I got it though. We moved to the trailer, okay? I got it.
But we had the trailer. And but she did do better once he got the white truck.
The white truck,
could reach it better.
I can reach the pedals.
And then
on
she
it.
took me out on the road to go to the other side of the
fine.
field. And I was
didn't stall.
I told her, I said, Jill, I ain't Catholic, but we just gonna do this to just like
I
cover
didn't
everything.
stall. I didn't any. We made it all fine, smooth, and in one piece. But now that red truck, if I had to get somewhere, we'd get there.
We'd be dead.
But we'd get there. But it would
we'd be
only
dead.
be in first and second gear.
Oh no, we'd be dead. Like we would be like Barney says, DED dead.
D-E, what is it? REVENG.
Reveng? Yeah, or as you say, we'd be real dead. Like we would be.
Well, Webb doesn't
Squish, just like
remember
grape.
much. Like he doesn't have many things he laughs about. But that's one thing he laughs about is me
my
trying to drive that truck. Cause
my
my
gosh.
legs are short, and it didn't matter how much I put behind me. It's like that floor just kept getting longer and longer.
And then Webb could get in it. After the first time.
Yes.
The first time,
No,
Alan
no.
was trying to teach him, and I think Alan said he was going to try to kill him.
No, we were at Nemo and Pa. They were building this house. We were at Nemo and Pa's. We rode with Daddy there, and it was late. And Daddy came in. And this is how random they are too. When they have random moments, this is when they take advantage of stuff. And he just came in and said, "Y'all gonna learn how to drive a stick tonight." And we were in the middle of eating supper, and Nemo said it. Wait, he said, "I don't care. We're gonna go." So they had all the brick piles out here, like setting out to get ready to build. And Daddy said,
And it's a tree stump.
no, that's a whole different story. And Daddy told Webb to drive first. So it was Webb, me. I don't know why he put me in the middle in front of the stick when he should have been there. And then he was on the other side.
Because it's logical.
Poor old Webb. He starts off, and so we start going down. Nemo's is here, Mama's is here. We start going down the dirt road that connected, and poor Webb, he's trying his best to shift it. Well, the driveway at the end down here, Dad's like, "You need to slow down. Mash the clutch. Mash the clutch!" And we go, oh, we skid in, and I thought, oh, okay. So we start coming down the other path, and he's shifted it okay, but then we start coming up. Remember, the light, this is an old truck, so the lights are lanterns. You can see, but not till you get real up close. Well, then all these brick piles are like a minefield, and he starts heading towards all of them. Webb isn't shifting down. He just started, and I thought, oh, we're not going to die, but we are going to impale these brick piles. Daddy kept screaming at him, stop, mash the clutch, stop. And then he just went over and, wow, Webb, why didn't you listen? I was trying, but it wouldn't shift. And here I am in the middle. There's hands everywhere and hitting. I just thought, oh my gosh. So we get finally back in the truck, and we head back up, and he drove back to I don't remember the drive back to Paul's. I think
Didn't he ask you if you
No,
wanted
we got
to
back to Paul's, and we got to the barn, and Daddy said, all right, your turn. I said, nope, not tonight. He said, why? I said, because I don't want to get smacked in the head. I said, not tonight. I said, I'll learn another night. So, needless to say, Webb taught me how to drive first, because I thought, well, he's done been smacked, so he knows. I go first on everything else. I'm taking the easy way.
Yeah, he used to put you first in everything.
I'm taking the easy way.
Who wants to go
out.
first? You'll go first. But yeah, it was. So you have so many, and he'd put them in the bucket on the back.
Out here in the front. And that's another fun thing. Usually you'll have all this equipment around, and you can have fun with it. You can safely, well, the story I'm fixing to tell, maybe it's not a good example of that. But they had built this house. He had gotten the backhoe, was doing something to the tree, and he would like to put us in the small bucket in the front. And for some reason, specifically me, and he would lift it up, and he would, because, it's like this, and he would take it and tilt it down. He would take it up, and he would tilt it down. Well, then one day, he just said, how strong are you? I said, I don't know. He takes it, and he keeps tilting it down. He keeps tilting it down. He keeps tilting it. And there's these handles on the inside. He tilts it all the way down. I am all the way up in the air, and I'm just holding on like this. And he's just sitting there dying laughing. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I want to see how long you can dangle." And I said, "Put me down." And Webb's just up there dying laughing too. So, this is where he gets all his. Anyways, people wonder why we are the way we are. And so finally, I came back down to the ground. He's just wringing his hands.
I'm like, who's next? Yeah, he tried to get me to get in it. I'm like,
and then he
nope.
figured out in the front, like the big bucket, that he could tote us around the yard in it, and we could pick up stuff, put it in the bucket, and then he put us back. We'd get back in the bucket. He'd drive us. We'd unload. So he was like, "Well, I'm just gonna have fun and drive," but it was fun for us because we were still getting right in the bucket. But I mean, it's just stuff like this, just memories.
It gives you as husband and wife, your kids, nieces, nephews, whatever. Everybody it's just an entirely different.
But just get ready for the random stuff that will happen, the accidents, the cuts, they won't go. Will not go to the hospital or doctor unless they're dying.
There's a reason why they make these funny videos, these nurses do, as far as, there's a farmer coming into the emergency room.
Without his wife.
Did his wife make him? No. He's just coming in.
Get
the crash car. Get the crash car.
They will not. They will super glue things shut.
Duct tape.
You name it. They'll come in with bloody things.
When I was pregnant with you, he was out.
Hands? Was it his hands?
Alan was outside changing the lawnmower blades. He come in. He's like, I cut my hand, and he had just sliced the blade all into him. Well, he's like, I think I'm just gonna put a Band-Aid on it. I'm like, Alan, no, you got to go to the emergency room and get that fixed. I'm just gonna, it'll be all right. I'll put some Band-Aids on it. I'm like, no, and I was so sick. I was still sick, and I was like, and I forget who. I don't know if it was Chess. I don't forget. It might have been Chess working with us. And I can't remember if he rode with us or met us there. But Alan was in there, and the doctor literally had to do surgery on his fingers in the emergency room because he had to tie tendons and everything back together in his fingers. Like right there in the emergency, like he had to do what he would have done in an operating room. And I just had to sit down. I could just feel everything coming, and I was like, I got, yeah. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, please don't also expect so much sympathy, and that a lot of them, again, have the biggest heart, but I have come to learn a lot of them, they're going to show that they care they're like, just fix it. One of the girls, I was so sick. I did not keep anything down. The only thing I could keep down was bread.
And you need to keep your iron up.
Yeah. I won't ever tell that man my iron is low again. With Gus, my iron got low, and my doctor told me to eat a bunch of greens. So I came home, told Brandon. That night, we happened to have greens for some reason. And so he boiled a big old, like, pot of greens, and he just kept piling I'd eat, he'd put more. I'd eat, I ate on that daggone pot I never told him my iron was, which it wasn't, but I never told him if my iron was low. I was so sick of greens. But with the girls, there was one night I don't know what, I thought I was dying when he did this, I guess. But I was just sitting on the floor next to the toilet, and I got to the point where I just take a pillow in there, and I would just lay sitting up on the tub, like on the outside of it, but I'd prop my head up because I knew I'd have to get up, and if I laid down I'd get sick anyways. He came in there and he sat down next to me, and I thought, I'm dying. I'm looking rough. He just came in there, he just patted me, and he rubbed my back, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I'm dead.
I'm dead. I thought, oh. And I mean, I was close to the end, but I started getting worried because They don't ever do stuff like that ever. And it's not that they don't care. It's just, again,
Not most aren't mushy gushy, but some are.
some
Some
are.
are.
And if that's for you, that is wonderful. But I don't know what I would do if Daddy and Brandon were mushy gushy. It'd be very weird.
We think we're dying.
It'd be, yep. So
Well, too, I mean, and it takes a little while to get used to, but like I said, we wanted to do this
as
because
does any relationship,
Yeah.
but this is just a different kind of
farmers are a different breed, just like police officers. Like we said before, police officers, they're just a different breed.
And don't
It's a different lifestyle.
Yes.
You have to. Every relationship requires adjustments, give and take. But when you are now, I know of some wives that are out in the fields with their husbands, like they are out there working just as hard as their husbands are. But when it comes to like the kids and stuff, you're gonna have to be away helping with the kids, their school, their homework, especially if you're homeschooling. And that's
You're going to be responsible for things outside.
Yeah.
You're going to be responsible for the house, the outside the field, helping provide in that way, but you're still helping provide.
Well, that's something you need to talk about while you're dating.
Yeah, you
don't. I mean, if it starts to get serious or whatever, that's some things you need to go ahead and talk about.
Because you're going to have to understand the financial aspect of it too. You're not, if they tell you you can't go do this month, that it's because they know the amount that they can spend. You probably don't, and that's okay. You don't have to, but there may not be all these extras. Like one night, I just don't care to do all the extra stuff anyways. But every month, I go and buy the groceries. Okay, that's one. I love the grocery store. Two, food again is my love language, and food is one thing that excites me. But I plan trips to go to a grocery store. I love the grocery store and different ones. I mean, I have my normal one that's my comfort, but I do like to go and look at these other cool natural grocery stores. But you may not, for 1 year may be tighter than the other. 1 year you may have to spend, you may have a little more to spend, but also take into consideration before and go and making big purchases, make sure you talk to them, because you go and drop $2,000 on something and y'all ain't got that $2,000 because that $2,000 was set aside for parts, for seat, for whatever, and he has to pay that back at the end of the year, and he knows what he has to spend. So, because you're living off of that loan too, not just equipment. And are you good over there? Oh,
Yeah, my eyes are just allergies.
It's this wind.
Yeah, just the allergies.
So that's another thing to talk about too when y'all are dating, is the aspect of, are you going to be okay with it, especially if you're not working. Like when I was working and I had, of course, I helped with things of the house too, but if I had some and I wanted to spend it on something else for me, or just a little extra something for whatever, I could. But now it's just we have one income, and anything that would be a big purchase or anything extra, make sure you talk about whether you'll be okay with sharing that with, a lot of people, I got a lot of drainage. My workouts I do at home. I just go on YouTube, or I find these people that I can follow, and so my workouts are free. And so I don't have a gym membership. That would be considered an extra, because we also have not only my mouth and his mouth, but we have 3 other mouths to feed, plus a dog and a cat, and all the babies she keeps having. But they keep away the rats and some of the snakes, so I ain't complaining.
Yeah.
But that would be an extra. It's just stuff like that, and I'm sure if I was to ask him, hey, it wouldn't be that it would be a big, but it's just the fact of the matter of being considerate of even those things, because they are working their tails off to help provide. And I feel like I would be inconsiderate if I just started signing up for this, ordering that, and doing all this without asking, like, hey, because crop prices aren't good. Diesel has gone up, so the amount that they'll have to spend to fill up the tractors and anything else that's
Fuel has gone up.
yep, that's
just like
using
gas.
diesel. So I mean, it's everything. So just take all that into consideration. Don't just assume. But again, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
One
I
thing,
say
and
it
one
like
more thing I
this.
just thought about.
What?
If if you start dating, a farmer or with anything like that, if you start dating anybody that does not have a set schedule and their schedule is going to be all over the place, you need to be ready to, when your family says, oh, well, why aren't they coming? You don't have to, don't have to put them in. I'm not using it as a put them in their place. You need to be prepared to stand up for your boyfriend, your fiance, your husband, whatever, and
Because
say,
there's
listen.
a very good chance if they're in cotton, they're going to be picking cotton on Christmas. They could be picking cotton on Thanksgiving.
Well, too, you just need to be prepared to tell your family, look, this is what he does for a living. This is what he has to do. And I'm okay with this. So you can either be okay with it or not. But this is his living. This is our living. And this is what he does. So he may be here. He may not. We'll just...
If he's here, just enjoy him being here while he's here. If he's not,
then
he's not.
He's where he needs to be. So... But you need to just be prepared to have that conversation with your family. You don't have to be ugly about it, but you can just let them know in those uncertain terms. Are you going to almost bully your boyfriend, husband, whatever, into thinking they have to come? The same thing with school concerts, piano recitals,
let me
whatever.
tell you, if you bully
they may
them,
not be there.
If you do bully them into coming, you're going to wish they ain't coming.
Well, with Alan, I mean, you can ask him to do something all day long.
Don't tell him.
He told me a long time ago, he said, don't tell me to do nothing. And you can ask me.
I don't tell Brandon to do any, even in playing, I don't tell him to do anything because that, and I get it. They see that as disrespectful, and it is disrespectful. I'm not going to tell you to do anything, and they will let you know very quick. But just know, and I say all this in the way I am because I'm very passionate about it. I would not change this lifestyle for anything. And I think, I don't say I think, I know God knew that I never, before I met Brandon, I never had a set, this is when I want my husband to. I just never thought about it. But also, I think it's because I never thought of doing anything else.
Yeah.
I hit a point in my teenage years that even if Webb couldn't go with Daddy, I would go with Daddy. And some of my favorite memories is just me and Daddy. And I remember there was one time, that's one thing though, if they do go eat, they eat. And so we went to Chili's, and it's when they had, I don't know if they still have it, but that Mexican tower thing that you'd get, you would like build.
They don't. I think it was the sizzling fajitas.
Where they build your own thing. Well, he got that for lunch.
I think now they just bring it out to you on the...
That man ate up that whole tower.
Oh, yeah, he used to...
And it was just me and him.
He started having to buy some bigger britches. Not big old britches, but bigger britches. Because once I learned how to cook...
He ate.
Once the chicken got done... Once the chicken wasn't raw... Y'all, I haven't burned entire meals. Like, I have burned... Every pot was burnt. Like every pot on my stove
I have burned a good bit, but it's mostly because I've forgotten about it.
Oh, listen, I almost burned our house down in Brookfield because I forgot I had grease on the stove when you were a baby. I had to put you outside in the little playpen. I smothered it out with a lid. Alan didn't know this till we built this house. That was how many years later? 20.
He wouldn't ever paid it attention anyways.
Anyway, he did not know I almost burned our house down.
Don't get offended if they don't notice you do something different to yourself or whatever, because when they get home, their mind is on shower, food, bed, and they're probably gonna sit there and figure some numbers too, especially during tax time. Tax time, don't.
Just let them be.
Let them be.
Plant, harvest, tax time. Just let them be.
And when they're planting, be prepared for them to not come home, possibly all night. but till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Don't call them saying, when are you coming home? You don't love me. You don't ever see me. Honey, if he didn't love you, he wouldn't be. Yes, he'd probably still be out there, but he wouldn't be pushing himself as hard as he's pushing himself.
Yeah.
And so, and I hate to say it, but things have happened to farmers where they didn't come home all night, and people go, well, how didn't the wife notice? Because we're used to it. We're used to them not coming home. We're used to them not coming home till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then getting up at 6 and being gone. So they came home. You didn't even know they came home, and when you woke up,
and already left again.
They'd already left again, or checking pivots during when after harvest, after planting, when they planted everything, and they're running pivots. Pivots have to be shut off 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, midnight, whatever. And that was one of the times me and Brandon would spend together before we had kids. That would be our quote unquote date night. We would,
check pivots.
We'd have Netflix on our phone, and we would go through. I hate McDonald's, but it was what was open, and at that point you'll take anything because you're spending time with them. We'd go get whatever was open, check a pivot. We would sit there and wait for it to walk out.
And then sometimes you get the mud bog because you have to drive through where the pivot's gone.
The first time I ever checked the pivot with Daddy, you were gone somewhere, and he had to check one. He had a silver truck, and he said we had to go with him, and it was down there at Dowdy's. That way. And it's got the as you come into the field where the pond is covered up by the weeds. He just told me we were going in the pond. And Webb knew that we weren't, so he was in the front seat dying laughing. Daddy was too. He's wringing his hands. He said, well, I got to follow it. He told me we were in the pond, we were going to die, and that to roll down the windows so we could get out. And he just kept easing in and easing in and easing. I was squalling, and he was just laughing. And I got home, and I said, I will never check another pivot again. He loved every second of it. Because I was petrified, and I don't think I went and checked a pivot for a very, very, very long time.
You know what we didn't talk about?
What?
Pigweed. Listen.
Now listen.
Whenever you have kids.
Whenever you marry a farmer, just know you will be a voluntold pigweed puller. Pigweed is this devil weed.
It's got a taproot. If you don't know what a taproot is, you remember Mr. McGill teaching y'all what a taproot was?
Did I ever tell you that he sat out there, and I told Brad, we were talking about him the other day, just how much we missed him, and he, we were at the dairy, and Pa and Daddy were off across the dam, and Mr. McGill pulled up, and he saw me, and Daddy's tailgate was down, so he got out 2 peanuts, and he sat there, and he was sitting there telling me about the sex of the peanut and how you could tell each and all this. And he looked at me at the end. He said, "Now don't tell your Pa and your Daddy I'm sitting here telling you about the sex of a peanut." And I just said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said, "I don't want them thinking I'm telling you anything inappropriate." With his safety pin pants.
Yes. The man could afford anything he wanted.
There's some other things I could say that he would say, but I might get kicked off of the internet for saying some of them things.
But he was the most amazing man.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we love Mr. McGill and Miss McGill.
Oh yes.
But yes, we when the kids were little, they started young working in the field, and we were the pigweed pullers. If you don't know what a pigweed is, Jill used to call them the devil weed.
They are the devil
because
weed. I swear, when God dropped Lucifer out of heaven, he also dropped seeds of pigweed with him.
But it's got a taproot. The bigger it gets, and a taproot, it just grows straight down. And the further it grows, the bigger it gets, and it'll just keep growing.
You have to, if you see just the tiniest little vine in the ground still from this thing, you got to get it out, because if not, it'll grow back.
It will grow back, and you have to get it, or it will make a tree.
They can get so big that we would pee behind them.
They would hide behind them and pee.
Big. And you need to really start early in the morning before the heat, because the time of year when they come out is when it gets
About 11 or 12 o'clock,
hot.
we would start daylight, and 11 or 12 o'clock, we'd have to quit because it was so hot. But you'd
And you
have
have
to
to-
walk these massive fields every row, like you would walk
because
it,
there
and
may
walk
be
it.
a tiny one you don't see, and you got to go ahead and get, because it chokes the
Peanuts, cotton, whatever
thank
out.
you, I couldn't get it out,
The crops out.
crop, thank you, the crop out, and there's nothing that really kills it, so you have to kill it. You have to have,
Well, there used to be something they could spray on it,
Yes.
a pre-emergent or whatever, to kill it before it come
but all
up.
these folks that don't know what they're talking about come in and try to
it's
regulate
bad for the such and such and such
this
and
and
such.
that. Well, you want to go pull the pigweed?
Well,
I will
too.
hand you the machete.
Well, too. I would love to educate them on what is put on the food that they import in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, we are so regulated in what we can and cannot put, but we need to educate you at some point on. Of course, they may kick us off if we really go to spilling what is on. They use Agent Orange. They use human waste. All of this stuff that we wouldn't even think about using. It is on your food that they import, but yet we can't use. Listen, if some of this stuff, and you can look up all of these lawsuits. I ain't even gonna say the name. The up down stuff, up, round and round.
You can say it. It ain't gonna round up.
Round up. But we'd all be dead. I know farmers that would stir.
I have seen Pa lick his knife from eating an apple that had Roundup and peanut seed dust, and peanut seeds have poison on them, and peanut seed dust. Lick his knife while eating the apple, and he didn't clean it in between all those things. The man is 86 years old. He's fixing to be 87, and he's still he could outdo me.
He could outdo anybody. Like, he is going.
Maybe that's what we need to be doing. Maybe we should be licking around
and stirring it with our arms. Not saying that, but there's guidelines you have to use. And what it is people did not follow those guidelines. Now, if you don't follow those guidelines,
it's just
with
like with anything else. I mean,
It's
common
like-
sense says wash your hands after if you sit there and you are eating. If you're going to eat with your hands, wash your hands before. Common sense says that. Or if you go, to the grocery store and you touch all this stuff and then you go home before you touch your baby, wash your hands.
Well, too, it's like there's a reason why there's safety instructions on the iron and
or why
shampoo
on Tide
bottles.
Pods it says don't intake or what?
Don't ingest.
Y'all.
This is not candy. Yeah, I mean, it's like there's reasons why things have warning labels. It's people like that are the reason why all this stuff has come about, as far as all the lawsuits and all that stuff. But you really want to get shot, you look at what they put on your food that's imported.
There's a reason I spend what I spend on groceries as far as the healthy stuff, is because yes, it can go on anything, but also we are surrounded by cancer. We know many people that have cancer right now, and we have horrible genes. I want to prevent. They may wind up getting some anyways, but if I know that I did everything to help prevent,
a lot of it is the additives and
the
stuff,
dyes.
the dyes, stuff that is in processed food. I've learned, and I got away from it, and I've got to get back to it. It's to shop the outside of the grocery store, because that's where your better choices
So
are.
yeah, I may not go and drop money on all this self-care stuff or this fancy stuff, but that's because the money that I make sure our money, as far as what I can do, goes towards helping us, because food is medicine, and also we farm. So I feel like I would kind of be contradicting myself if I didn't buy the whole food stuff as well, because it's coming straight from farmers. And yeah, I will try and buy local when I can, but listen, for the amount of people that say buy local that don't buy local, I don't want to hear it. But also, where I live, there should be a farmer's market. There is not. The one here to be able to sell at, don't even get me started on it, but they almost make it impossible to do stuff like that here, which makes no absolute sense. So that's a whole other thing. Anyway, so I do the best I can where I can, but I do try and buy Whole Foods and support where I can, but I also want to make sure I'm putting in my kids' bodies what will nourish their bodies. And we're working on Brandon. We're getting there. He may buy him some candy off of Amazon, but I try to do the best. I don't try to control the man. I just try to do what I can to cook the best I can.
I'm working on True. Your daddy.
How the man don't have the diabetes, I don't understand.
Just like yeah, I ain't even.
Getting back, farming. There's the life when you put all of the petty stuff aside and put yourself aside and you focus on the core of it, you can't get any better. Yeah. The values are wonderful. The work ethic. Oh gosh.
Etiquette. Well,
etiquette. I said etiquette. You're going etiquette, and you just keep on etiquette.
Anyway, it's just remember your relationship is between you and that person. It's not between
you, God, and that person.
Yeah, it's not between y'all and your families, y'all and your friends. It is between you and that person.
And if you do have to stand up and it does have to get a little, I don't encourage you getting ugly, but what I'm saying, if you have to put your foot down more to the point with just your mother-in-law, your family, whoever.
Friends, whoever.
And you have to go, look, if you respect me, and you want me to, and you love me as a family member and as a friend, you should be willing to understand. Like, I don't expect you to understand it, but you should not come at me in this way of digging at us because he can't come or I can't come or he needs my help, because during wagon time, I fully set aside everything.
During wagon time?
Pulling wagons. I call it wagon time.
Yay-haw!
So what I've actually decided to do this year is, this may be contradictory, but I don't really care, because this is our little boat and our family, and so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do school through the summer, and we're going to treat our summer break during harvest time. I mean, this time, what I did was I did school in the truck, and it worked. But I have to get in and out. I can do it, but it's going to be so much easier on me and him because it's the same length as summer. It is the same length as summer. So I'm going to go all the way through summer.
Very good idea.
And come August, I will still we'll do school through till August. And come August, we'll roll into the next school year.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is I will treat that as our summer break, and we'll just keep rolling.
Oh, so that's a good idea. Because
we start pulling even though they don't start picking till around lunch, we usually start getting wagons about 9 or 10 o'clock, depending on where it's at, to go ahead and have them in the field for the next day. And so I have to be out of the house at a certain time usually, or he may have me do this, or I don't ever know exactly what we're going to be doing, and it's going to make it so much. And that's the thing, you have to figure out what works for you and your family. You can't go based off of what I can't go based off of what she does. She can't go based off of what I do.
Why not? Because I'm perfect.
Well, so
yeah, you can look at different families and get ideas. And you can just take a bunch of different ideas and just make it your own. But y'all figure out what works for y'all in dating, in a relationship, in a marriage. Work together and figure it out. Pray about it. Keep God as the center. And realize there's going to be some struggles. There's going to be some hard times. There's going to be a lot of give and take on both parts.
It's not going to be the 50-50. It's not.
Most of the time, it's like
it's gonna be what you can do, what he can do. Don't try the comparison game either. As far as Well, I stay out and work. Well, I stay home and take care of the kid. You equally have an important part.
Yeah.
Your part is important and his part is important. And
And
it's
they'll be
also important for each of you to recognize that for each other.
and when he's not super busy, there'll be times when he can watch, the kids, and maybe if you want to go to lunch or supper, with
Well, that's like this time of year. He's home fairly early. I say fairly early, about 8ish, or it may run a little later. So right now to do this, I'm able to leave him with the kids. But when it comes planting time, I'll probably have to come over here during the day and do this because he's gonna be, like I said, that's gonna be the non-existent time. I'm gonna see him if he needs food or in passing in the hallway, and that's just normal. It's nothing personal. It's he's got his mind on this, and don't ask a lot of questions when they busy because they're gonna get short, and it's not because of you. It's because their mind.
they've got so much.
They're running numbers. They're thinking, okay, I need to get this part from this place. Go here, there.
Farmers, you need to understand that farmers are not just farmers. They are bankers. They are chemists. They are accountants. They're mathematicians because they have to figure out what to plant, how much to plant, how much per acre, how much chemicals.
They have to go
per
to all
acre.
these mandatory meetings for chemicals.
Chemical license. They have to have a chemical license or they cannot buy and use these chemicals. They have to figure out, okay, how much money am I going to need to plant this much acreage, and it's going to require this much chemicals. Okay, this goes to so much per acre, so I have 300 acres.
This store I can get these parts cheaper from. They have, you name it, they
We have driven to Alabama. It was out past Birmingham, Alabama, Muscle Shoals, all out that way to get equipment.
Was that the backhoe?
We went out there for the backhoe, but we wound up buying the backhoe and the excavator and the bulldozer.
I don't think I bought them all at one time.
We bought most of them at one time because he got a semi to bring them.
I
We
thought
went
y'all
out
bought
there for
two.
one.
I thought y'all
We
bought.
went out there for the backhoe.
I know
and we
y'all
wound
brought
up finding
back the
the
backhoe.
excavator.
Okay.
Because the place where we bought the excavator, the owner of it was flying over in his helicopter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But just be patient with each other.
Yeah.
As hard as that's gonna be, but
give it time, figure it out.
Well, I say time. When she's talking about getting married, we dated for 3 months, got engaged in November, and that day we had everything planned out, when, where, everything, because that's how it works. That's how you have to decide fast usually. It was, we go to the courthouse that week and get married, which we look back and we say we should have done that. We should have saved the money and we should have just done that. But, or we get married March, or we may wait till next November. We didn't want to wait till next November. There was no point. So we had family that we wanted to be there. So like Nima, Pa, he had some family he wanted to be there. And so we chose to have the wedding, but so we wound up in March. Your honeymoon may not be long, you may not get one, and you may have a trip later. That's fine too. Ours was 2 days. 3, but technically 2, because once we got to Blue Ridge past midnight. So we woke up Monday. I think we went and ate some. We ate at IHOP. We ate at IHOP. No, Helen. We went to Helen. Sorry, not Blue Ridge. We went and ate at IHOP. We walked around a little bit. We ate. Brandon shut down a place eating endless crab legs. I think they didn't think anybody would take it that seriously, but he did.
Especially somebody that small.
That's small. I just don't understand. And the next day we woke up, we packed up, and we left because he had to get back and start planting.
Well, I don't think Webb and Laney went.
They didn't go anywhere.
They finally went somewhere 5 or 6 months later.
Is that when they went to the mountains, Tennessee,
yeah, they finally
or
went to the mountains, yeah. So it's, I mean, it just depends on, you may get to go ahead and get married, but you may have to wait on the honeymoon, which is fine because, there's different rates. That's like if you want to go to the beach after Labor Day, the prices
Much
drop. If you
cheaper.
want to go to the mountains, it doesn't have to be the day after you get married.
No, and I think a lot more people do that now to save too.
Yeah.
So it's not an uncommon thing now. When we got married, it was uncommon, but now it's
But
not.
it's worth working through all of the obstacles and everything because it's an amazing life. Me and Jill, one last thing before, because I don't even know how long we've been doing this.
Ain't no telling.
Me and Jill, before we got True, we were, like we said, we were working in the fields. Well, we hauled wagons too. We'd have to haul from Malapahaw all the way to Tai.
And that, if you don't know, when you pull a wagon that's unloaded, you can go 50-ish and you're usually okay. You pull a loaded wagon, depending on how heavy and what you got, you're going anywhere from 25 to 30, usually 35 miles an hour. And if you're going what seems like not a long distance, that can turn into an hour. From where we were going one way, it was an hour. And then you'd have to go an hour back. And so that but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Oh yeah, it was because we'd be like, okay, we're gonna haul peanuts today. Yeah, we get haul peanuts, and so we'd get our little snack stuff together and our drinks, and we'd go by Sambo's and get us a sweet tea, and best sweet tea. It's got the little crushed ice, and it's so good.
So good.
But we would get to the field, and then we'd have to come across those bridges. And one of the first times we went across those bridges with a loaded wagon, because
people come at me for not buckling my seatbelt with all this. There's a reason, because you got to get in and out, in and out, in and out so much. It just becomes aggravating, and you're like, I'm going to chuck this thing out the window. Anyways.
Well, it's when we were going across, you have this much weight behind you. So when it's going over those little dips in the bridge, those little cracks, it starts kind of bouncing.
And when you start stopping, it yanks you.
Well, it starts pulling you back and forth because it's bouncing. Well, Jill's over there. She's buckled in. I'm buckled in. And we get to going across these bridges. And it gets to jerking so bad that she almost winds up in the floorboard. And I'm hanging on to the steering wheel. Just, and I can't hardly drive for Jill over there. Over there,
I couldn't grab hold of nothing.
She kept going further and further and further in the floor, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to just.
I couldn't go no further.
So now, but then after we figured out what it was going to do, we're like, we get to go over the bridges again. So I was like, hang on.
Well, so this past year, after I quit working, I hadn't seen Elena and Ashley for probably 2 or 3 months.
That's right.
Which is the longest I had ever gone at this point since knowing them. And I was like, well, y'all can come haul wagons with me. And I was so scared they weren't having a good time because they were so quiet. Well, come to find out, it was because of all the yanking and the squashing, and they were scared to death. Because I looked over one time, and they're both of their legs. Anytime we would hit a bump, because you get to the point where you've done it so much, you don't pay as much attention. You get used to it. But somebody else that's never done it, you don't realize how.
They probably think the bottom is fixing to fall out.
I looked over one time, and both of their legs are just, shaboom, shaboom, and they were in sync. And I got so tickled at their legs and their whole body just going. And at this point, you go over the rows, and you don't pay it any attention because your goal is to unload and load as quick as you can because they're waiting on you. And I just got so daggum tickled. I just got so tickled, but I was so scared they weren't having a good time. But come to find out, I was like, I wondered why y'all were so quiet. I think they were just trying to think, are we going to live?
Well, there was one time we were hauling, and I mean, people will pull out in front of you, and if you're loaded,
they don't care.
If you're loaded with a peanut wagon.
Also, side note, in the state of Georgia, if you are coming one way and a tractor's coming towards you in the state of Georgia, By law, the tractor has the right of way. Sorry, just wanted to.
That means pull over and get out of the way.
Or if you're going to go buy them, you best book it because they ain't going to sit there and wait on you. Just go.
That's like Alan who said, I only bounced so long on the side of that road, then it's like, sorry.
And then if you're behind them, I play blocker. I play blocker because
goalie. Goalie.
if they gonna sit there and be idiots and then they gonna wait and then the tractor's turn, I'm gonna be blocker and you gonna eat up my trailer hitch, but better that than running under a tractor.
Yeah, well, there was one time, Jill would be my what do you call it? She had a Gatorade bottle. And she would hang out that window.
Idiots.
I remember this one time this guy was going to try to pull
It
out
was
in
a
front
lady.
of, It was a lady.
It was a lady in her little minivan. There's reason. If you got a minivan, I'm sorry. I don't mean nothing offensive. But I will never be a minivan mom.
But she was hanging out that window just to wave.
I had a honey bun in one hand. I had a honey bun in one hand. And I had my Gatorade bottle in the other. And she saw us. She kept looking at me. And she just kept easing and easing. So finally, our windows were down because it felt good. We were going, anyways, our windows were down.
Yep.
So I just fully unbuckled and I put my whole body out the window and I was fixing to throw my Gatorade bottle at her window. She wasn't stopping. We were piggybacking.
Yeah.
We had two wagons, so there was no way. And she could have gone several times, but she was waiting. She's about to get hit by the Gatorade bottle, and then she'll sit there looking at me like I was the ding dong. And then I'm just throwing my hands with my honey bun probably coming all out my mouth with my Gatorade bottle. Like, what?
Well, and listen, when these peanut wagons are loaded, there is no stopping. And I have a friend that
my brake. This is the first time I've ever had to have my brakes replaced. But this year I was doing way more hills, and so you're coming down a hill with a loaded wagon. Your brakes are gonna go no matter if you want them to or not.
Well, I have a friend that her husband farms too, and so she was going to try to pull.
Are you talking about coming?
She was.
We love you, Miss Janice.
She was going to pull loaded wagons, and I told her, I said, okay, if you're going to pull loaded wagons, there's one thing you got to get ready for. I said, you have to get in the mentality of if somebody's going to pull out in front of you with a loaded wagon, you got to be ready to hit them because you cannot stop and you cannot swerve, or you're going to hurt yourself and whoever's in the vehicle with you.
You're going to be probably less hurt than they are because you're going to be impacted with all that weight. Bless their hearts, they just squish.
Yeah, well, and I told her, I was like, you've got to mentally prepare for people to pull out in front of you because people are stupid. They're just stupid. And she had one to pull out in front of her, and I think Trent was in there with her, and she slammed on them brakes. He's like, you can't do that.
Wait, was this in the Jeep?
I don't remember what vehicle it was in, but she retired her pulling wagon because she's like, I just could not mentally tell myself to hit these people. And I told her, I was like, that's when you pulling wagons, that's one thing you got to be prepared for is somebody pulls out in front of you. And I told her, I was like, listen, somebody pulls out in front of us, we're going to plow into them, get ready.
This is probably not a good thing, but Daddy trained me well. So when I started going to the field with Daddy, even by myself, if Webb wasn't, I started the whole pick up, drop off thing very early. Mm-hmm. So if they say follow me, you follow.
You follow them.
If that means breaking some laws,
that means
I'm not saying wink wink to break the laws, but you're gonna have to do some things. Red lights mean nothing. When you're pulling wagons and that light turns red and you're on, don't hit the brakes. You're just gonna run it. Stop signs, sometimes you just gotta run it. That's just how it is. But if he says follow me, you best follow because Daddy was in. I can't remember what he was in, but he told me to. This is when he had his 2500 silver truck, and he told me to follow him through town. I don't know how many red lights we ran, and there was semis coming, and I had something behind me. Semis were coming every direction. I was weaving and wobbling. I made it. There was no complaints. I made it on time with him, and when he parked whatever he was driving, I was there to pick him up. That's all that matters.
Yep.
That
As
is
long as you make it, they don't care how you get there. As long as you get there.
Well,
Remember
Paul-
that time we were coming from Alapahaw that late at night, and they had the roadblock in Alapahaw, and we were in front of Jill, and it
I
was
had just started driving.
and it was the time where like they weren't supposed to be driving
if
past
you're under
midnight or
if you're
something.
under 18 in Georgia at the time, you could not drive past midnight or you would get your license taken away.
And it was
We
late.
were checking pivots, and for some reason he needed us, so I drove my truck. Mama and Webb rode back with Daddy. I was driving my truck by myself. It was 11:45. We weren't far from home, but I knew my time was cutting it close. They had a license
check. Well, DUI check too.
but
In the middle of 82 in Alapahaw.
and
We pull up to it first, and Alan tells the officer. He said, now the one behind us, he said, that's my daughter back there. Like, we've been out farming all this stuff, and, we're headed home. And
he told him something else, because then the cop comes up to my window. I hadn't been long had my license. He shines the light in my eye, and this was Daddy's old truck. I didn't know what was in it. Not that Daddy was doing anything bad, but Daddy does have to take some medicine, and all I could think was, when he says what he says, is, oh my gosh, I'm going to jail. Because Daddy takes goody powders too, and so sometimes there's white substance places, and it's just goody powder, but it can look like something else. And he shines the light in my eyes. I already had my license ready. I was ready. And I thought, I'm getting home. I gotta get home. And he just looked at me and stared at me. He said, well, what are you doing out this late? Checking pivots. Checking pivots. And then he starts taking his light, and he starts looking like this. And I thought, what did I do? Oh my gosh. And then he comes up and he says, well, we're told you have cocaine in your truck. I thought I was going to have to clean out my britches. I could feel the color just drain. And he did a great job, whoever this man was, because he still kept looking with his flashlight. And he could tell I was probably fixing to lose it, because I thought, oh my gosh. How do I even explain this? How do I... They just left. I'm not allowed to talk on my phone. What do I do? And then he just silence. That was the longest pause. And then he just laughed. He didn't even look at my license. He just laughed. He said, I'm just kidding you. Daddy in front of you told me to do that. I rode in silence the whole way home, and I got home, and I just looked at Daddy. He said, what? I said, you.
I won't ever forget, too, the time we were coming down this road right here behind us, and Webb was riding with your daddy, and I forget where we were. It might have been coming to this field, and anyway, Webb was little.
Oh.
And you might have been at school or something, because it was during the daytime.
I don't think I've ever heard this.
And your daddy had something behind him on the tractor, and Webb has always been about buttons.
Yes.
And so your daddy was going up and down these hills right here, and I won't ever forget, he just started going all over the place, and I'm like, what is he doing? I'm like, he's got Webb in there, he's going wreck. And I saw that whatever implement was on the back was going up and down and up and down, and then he was all over the place. He said Webb was in there pressing every button, every knob. And so your daddy was trying to drive and stop him from mashing all the buttons. And Webb with his little cotton top hair sitting over there. I mean, all I saw was, I thought, oh my gosh, what are they doing? And then once I found out what they were doing, I just died laughing.
He's always been about buttons, but he would take naps in the little space in the floorboard. He would curl up on whoever's jackets
coats.
they
would
had.
get coats and pile
and
down
they would
there.
pile it up, and that's where he would sleep.
He would sleep. He wouldn't go home.
No, he would
but
sleep.
But he would, if you put him on a lawnmower to just ride around, not mowing, just ride around, the kid hated to sleep. But if you put him on that or a tractor and put him a bunch of coats down there, out like a light. And then he's always loved cotton pickers, always. And I told Alan, I was like, listen, part of that's our fault that he
Well,
loves
he
cotton
used to
so
go to
much.
sleep to cotton picker
The instruction
instruction
video
videos.
that come with Alan's cotton picker, that's what we would put Webb to sleep with every night in the VCR. Every night he'd go to sleep watching. So he knew he would go up and start talking with all the guys out there to repair stuff on
He
cotton
knew more
pickers.
than they did.
He was like, "Oh, that's the spindles and that's the doffers and that's this and that," and they would be like,
Who is this kid?
and it was kind of, well, that's, I mean, has always wanted a cotton picker so bad, but we ain't
Bless
got
his heart.
$1 million, you know.
No, there's that.
But anyway, it's I hope this has helped or helps.
Not only if you're looking to go down this road, prepare you, but also give you hope and to see stuff to look forward to, because there's nothing like it.
Oh no, there's so many memories we made.
There's
and
so much joy in it, but there's also so much gratefulness and thankfulness, and try and stay humble. When you don't stay humble in it and realize that literally everything going into your mouth is coming from God, because He's sending the rain and He is making the crops grow, and times that you should have nothing, He allows you to have what you need. And it may not be in abundance, but it's what you need.
And groceries are not grown at the grocery store.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, they are not grown at the grocery store. I've heard some teenagers and stuff
Listen,
talk about.
my kids, they have gotten. Sometimes they'll try and push their boundaries like any kid will, but we have tried to raise them to say, look, if it's put in front of you, that's what you eat. You don't complain, you don't whine, you sit there until it's all gone. If you don't eat, then you don't eat. You ain't getting nothing else. But we have told the kid, or Brandon's told the kids, that chicken wings were flying squirrel, and they eat it. So they'll ask me, "Are we eating flying squirrel?" So when they see chicken wings, they think it's flying squirrel, and they love it.
Well, that's like Pa telling Webb that frog legs at the reunion one year. Frog legs was chicken legs, and Webb loved them and wanted more. And I was over there like, ugh.
Frog legs are good though.
Nope.
That's one thing I hadn't had in a long time. Frog legs and gator tail.
Nope. Now I can handle. I can't now since my taste is all crazy.
I love some gator tail.
No. But and this, I mean, and this could also help with lots of things
relationship
as far
in
as
general with work and who your day is.
Especially people that don't have set schedules, and it's so crazy and all over the place. It takes a lot of give and take, but the good outweighs the bad, and so hands down. I mean, you can't take. I wouldn't take anything, and I actually miss being in the fields.
Oh, whenever I started staying home and he started using me more, I was overjoyed. I felt, part of me felt empty and like something was missing, because I at one point I was so involved in it, and I went from being so involved in it to not at all.
Yeah.
And then it was like a part of me, because I say that's all I've ever known. No, I don't do what they do. No, I don't farm like they do. But as far as this lifestyle's all I've ever known.
And I think that's why I enjoy now, like doing the tea parties and the
Gives
etiquette.
you something to do.
It's given me that purpose I want. Even though I know I have a lot of purposes, it's given me that. It's fulfilling that void I had from helping in the fields for so long, because with True and his autism and the heat, I can't really be out in the fields a lot with him.
Y'all use trailers too instead of wagons.
Yeah.
So that helps.
They use the big semi.
Yeah, that takes
trailers
out the
now.
hauling part, but
yeah. Now I would love to haul some more wagons. I mean, I think that would be. But I mean, they use the semis and stuff now, and so anyway. But I think that, and that way I could take True with me. But it's kind of fulfilling that void.
And you'll feel
I have,
and you'll realize that once you realize that even the small things, like I've said, matter to them, you'll enjoy doing those things, and just realize that you're going to be helping them more than they're going to be helping you. But again, to emphasize, they are helping you more than you realize, because they're doing what they're doing to put a roof over your head, a food in your mouth, the clothes on your back. So don't be whining when he says you can't go buy this shopping spree or whatever. Don't be whining. Don't, because it's either that or you don't eat. I mean, sometimes it does come down to stuff like that. So and be respectful. Just be mindful. Be respectful to him like you would want him to be to you.
There's a reason that God has put man head of the home, and it's not to belittle.
No.
It is his job to provide and make sure.
Yes.
It's a huge weight for them to carry to make sure their family is taken care of.
Like I said, you are biblically their helper. God gave Adam Eve for his helper and to help take care of the family, the children, to take care of the Proverbs 31 woman. And I feel it that greatly, especially the part about where they get up before the sun. I'm like,
what son?
Nema, she was the best Proverbs 30 woman I have ever seen and probably will ever see. I struggle in the morning so bad. So bad.
Well, and I think it's more a kind of like the Lord's Prayer. It's a guideline. It's something for us to help guide us.
But I get too why it's in there, because you are able to do more before the kids get up to help prepare the home.
Well, and two,
I'm glad I said that. I left my bread sitting out on the counter. It got to go in the fridge tonight so I can bake it tomorrow.
Oh, gosh.
I hope it don't be all whoo when I get back. I may have to scrape sour. Anyway, sorry.
It's and then when it says her children rise up and call her blessed, and that's something we want, is for our children to love us and respect us and admire us, and
we're to be also an example.
Is I hope that when my time is no longer, when God calls me home, that my children are proud of who their mama was. I want my children and my husband to be proud of who I was.
Yes.
And my grandchildren.
Because you're also setting a standard for what your children will look for in a spouse, as far as, and how they need to be as a spouse.
Yeah. And for generations to come. And you want to leave that legacy just like Nema did. And that's why
I'm still mad at her for leaving us.
Well, and that's why now I'm so proud that I have gotten to a place with everything that I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of who God is creating me to be and who He has.
You're discovering who you're discovering.
I'm discovering who I truly am.
Well, and to what path God is setting in front of you, because sometimes when we're blinded by our own stuff, we don't see what God's putting in front of us. And now you're like, oh. Speaking of that, randomly, I was talking about this with Elena. My Bible study today, it was talking about Solomon, David's son Solomon. Do you know that man had 700 wives that were princesses and 30 wives that were concubines? He had 730 wives. How do you remember their names? How do you not walk down the street and go, oh, that's a stranger, but it be one of your wives? Please. People say we crazy now.
And then some will say, well, why did God allow him? Because just like when Israel wanted a king, and then it turned out they didn't really want a king, but God said, you asked for a king. So I'm like, okay, fine, you can have a king. Sometimes God allows us to have these things to teach us a lesson in, I'm all you need. Oops. I'm over here banging on my...
I think I've hit mine several times. I cannot...
It's like, I'm all you need. I knew
he had a lot of wives.
Yeah, so if you ever wonder why God allowed them to have that many wives, it's because that's something they wanted.
It ain't okay.
That's something they wanted, and God
specifically told him, too, before that the king was not supposed to have many wives, and that he was not supposed to have wives of these certain tribes and outside of his people and all this. But we were talking about husband and wives, and like I said, I knew he had a lot of wives, but it's been a long time since I read it that specific. 730 wives. I'm sorry, one marriage is stressful. Can you imagine? And not meaning that in a bad way, but marriage is like...
Marriage is work.
Marriage is not a breeze. You have to put in work
Yeah,
into
I
it.
mean, we've been married 30-something years this year, and it's sometimes
730 wives. Can you imagine? Like, at that point, you can't be picky either. You just looking at somebody and say, you. And then I told Elaine, I said, can you imagine all the diseases that they had too? Within these 731, including him, people.
I just have so many questions.
I know.
Like, my brain's trying to figure out, okay, did he have that many wives just to have, okay, I need you over here washing laundry. I need you
Well, he
over
had
here
servants too.
over here doing this. I need you over here. Or maybe he just wanted a bunch of pretty wives to look at in every room
I'm
he
sorry,
went
but
in.
out of 730 people, you know they ain't all pretty. Not mean that in
Well,
a
a lot of them,
vain
didn't they wear
way.
the, what do they call it, hijab or something over their faces and all that stuff? But if they did, he mainly saw the eyes. I don't know. That'll be something. I'll have to look into. But anyway,
I'm with you. I just have so many questions.
and sorry for all the drops in my eyes. My allergies are just
This
killing me.
weather's horrible. We go from cold to wet to dry, cold to wet to dry.
Yeah. So, did we even say welcome to Wonky Kids and everything when we started?
I don't know, but this is Wonky Kids and Everything. This is the last episode of season 1. We still will be doing an episode normal time, but it'll just be season 2. So it's not like we're taking a break or anything. It'll still be at normal time, but it just helps break it up some.
Yeah.
But I hope y'all enjoyed this episode, and yes, I hope it was helpful, and I hope we gave you a little insight as to our life and what we enjoy and what we're passionate about. And there's a reason that when certain things come up, farmers get a little more hot as far as we get very passionate about certain things. It's because we love it, and it's not that we're angry you don't understand, but sometimes we get upset that you don't even try to see our point
People
of
try
view.
to take our land away by data centers,
Let me
solar
tell you,
panels,
these data centers and all they're
and the people that should, even
Listen,
farmers that are supporting data centers,
if
solar
you are
panels.
a farmer and you are supporting or pushing these data centers and solar panels, I have no problem saying it, because you're taking away our land. You sit there and say that it's only going to use up this amount of water. No, that's wrong, because we've contacted people that have this. They're putting out false information. They're trying to hide it. And if you put these solar panels on this land, you are, one, taking away that land, but two, they have to, if you no longer, it's not bringing in the money they say, that's a lie. Same thing with the data centers. That's a lie. It's not bringing in. It's not bringing in the jobs that they say. That's a lie. They say it'll help with county with money to help make up some of the
taxes and stuff.
taxes, or that if the county's broke, it'll help fill in that. No, it won't. It is a bunch of lies, and they're going to do everything to convince you otherwise. But I do have a personal vendetta against the people trying to bring this stuff in, and you acting like it's all hunky-dory, but saying, yes, support farmers, land. Bull.
Well, and two,
I would love to call you out in a heartbeat, because you are taking away so much.
Well, because they know better.
And yes, and it's very selfish, and it's dirty. The way they're doing this is dirty also. I see the point of you trying to make your point. Okay, everybody can have an opinion. Everybody can have a point. But it's the way you come across it.
It's like everybody's got elbows.
Yes, it's the way you present it. It's the way you come across it. It's the way you're trying to force it on everybody. Because older people, they don't, not trying to call out a specific age group, but older people, they don't understand all this either. I don't understand why they are trying to push it.
Kickbacks.
Oh, yes, kickbacks.
Their pockets
They're
are
lining
getting
their pockets,
padded.
and these people are saying, no, we're not. But I don't understand why.
Well, too, we know some of the people that's behind it, and they're one way out, and they're another way when they're away from the spotlight.
That way either.
You know who you are, and you know better. But you know what? God also knows. What was it, J.L. Moody, that said, character is who you are in the dark?
I have no clue.
In other words, God sees all, God knows all. So he knows who y'all are that's trying to push this through. But it's bad enough that farmers have to fight against real estate brokers. They have to fight against real estate companies.
Farmers have to fight against other farmers,
yes,
too.
they have to. We have other farmers that come in and try to take our land away from us by offering to pay more rent for the land than what we're paying, which is why most farmers try to buy their land, but they have to be able to afford the land.
It's hard enough to find land as is, but then you have these data centers and solar panels try to come in and take away land, because once solar panels go on this land, it is unfarmable.
Yeah.
It is, I don't care what
it
they
takes
say.
What, 80 years or something?
It takes at least 80 years for it to be halfway farmable again.
Because
so
it
not
puts
in
so
your
much
lifetime,
stuff in the soil.
and possibly not your kids' lifetime. So there's no telling, and they have to bring certain equipment in to take this out to dispose of it a certain way. So if they can't do that, it's just going to be left there, not including the health hazards that come with this. Y'all, it's radiation that is literally just going woof, woof, and it's
which
anyways,
will lead to more cancer, which will lead to more pharmaceutical companies
data centers
getting
will dry
more kickbacks.
Rivers, it will damage wildlife. Same thing with solar panels. Wildlife, it takes away their habitats. It takes away so much. And the fact that you see a dollar sign and you're putting that before anything else, you're seeing this dollar sign, you're putting it before your kids, you're putting it before the community, you're putting it before so much. And I know I get so wound up about it because it's, one, is wrong. Two, you're trying to take away our livelihood, the food we are putting in our mouths, the clothes we are putting on our children's backs, so much. And you're just putting a dollar sign in front of it and saying that is more, the dollar sign is more important. That's greed. That is, you need to be humbled, because you don't realize what you're doing to so many people, or you just may not care.
Well, and two, now you want to get in a bad situation, become reliant on other countries for your food, your clothing, and everything else. And even though you want to back all of these things, the data centers, the solar panel stuff, and all that stuff, and you think you are winning, as soon as they get what they want, guess who they're going to come for next? They're going to come for you, so that they do not have to pad your pockets anymore or pay you anymore. So they're going to kick you out of it, just like all of us. And then, like, but some
This
people
is something to be okay to be riled up about, because it's very important. It will impact the community heavily.
Yeah.
And
so
it's not okay. So
when you have a chance to stand up and fight against it, stand up and fight against it, because if not, you will wind up getting all of your food imported and controlled by other countries. And again, it has Agent Orange, it has human waste, every horrible chemical you can imagine is being.
You can't control what's on it.
No,
they
import everything.
You think that what we have here is bad.
Anyway,
not.
If you have a chance to stand up for farmers and farmland, please do so.
And not trying to end this on a bad note. It's just something that people should be very aware of. Do your research. Don't just trust what your officials say, because half of the time they're pushing for it because they see the dollar signs, they see their advantages, but they don't see what it does to other people. They don't care about what it does to other people.
Well, in anything, do your research.
And I know, and
dig.
Just because you know them, I hate to say this, but just because you know them, don't trust them. Do not trust them.
I don't trust a lot of people I know.
But farming, again, there's so much, that's something to take pride in, to be proud of. And this lifestyle, again, I would not trade for
anything in this world.
When people talk about saying they want to marry a farmer, I'm happy that they have that mentality, but also be aware of what you could be entering into. But if you can come to agreement with all that and understanding and learn to love that, There's nothing. But you may think that about other things too, as far as a different lifestyle. You may think the same thing, but everybody is not built for a farming lifestyle, but if you are, there's nothing better.
Yeah.
So, but I hope this episode was enjoyable and that you liked it and that there was something else I was going to say, but my brain's shutting off.
Oh, I know. But if y'all have any ideas of things you would like to hear about, talk about, questions, just comment. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share because it helps the algorithm to keep us going and to keep it relevant and to keep it active. So y'all just keep us going and let us know what y'all would like, some topics y'all would like for us to cover.
We will see you on season 2.